This career-driven woman took her first trip to the countryside and immediately noticed something strange. The names of the local shops were strikingly similar to those of her assistant standing beside her. This made her start to wonder, could the broke assistant who followed her for 3 years actually be a hidden rich heir? But what she never expected was that this accidental trip would completely change the course of her life. Margaret is a top editor at a major newspaper, earning $1 million a year. Her status in the company is unmatched, just one step below the CEO, but because of her cold, domineering attitude, employees secretly call her the witch. Andrew, on the other hand, is just an ordinary assistant. Every day he runs around non-stop just to keep up with work. He has to follow Margaret like a shadow, and even wakes up at dawn to search 10 different streets for her favorite coffee. If he brings the wrong one, Margaret will immediately make him work overtime to make up for it. And this is how Andrew has worked with her for 3 long years. During these years, he barely had any time off.
I need you around this weekend to help review his files and his manuscripts.
This weekend?
You have a problem with that?
No, I just my grandmother's 90th birthday, so I was going to go home, and it's fine. I'll cancel it.
Margaret is very satisfied with her always-on-call assistant. But as a senior executive, she has to treat everyone equally. Even the deputy editor isn't immune. When he made a mistake, Margaret showed no mercy. She declared that Bob had a poor work ethic and fired him on the spot. Before Bob could even react, Margaret had already walked away with her head held high. Her arrogance hit a nerve. Bob stormed out in a rage, shouting down the hall. He cursed her heart of stone and said she'd be abandoned by love, but Margaret calmly responded.
Listen carefully, Bob. I didn't fire you because I feel threatened. No, I fired you because you're lazy, entitled, incompetent, and you spend more time cheating on your wife than you do in your office. And if you say another word, Andrew here is going to have you thrown out on your ass, okay?
Her sharp, well-reasoned reply left Bob speechless. In the office, Margaret is known for her harsh and controlling nature. This is how every employee describes her. Her strict style is hard for others to accept, but because her work is flawless, the boss always turns a blind eye. But this time, Margaret made a serious mistake. So buried in work, she forgot to renew her visa. Now it had expired, and the immigration department decided to deport her. To Margaret, this was a total shock. Even worse, the board decided that once she was deported, her position would go to the man she just fired, Bob.
Editor-in-chief, he's the only person in the building who has enough experience.
You cannot be serious. I beg of
Margaret,
you. I beg.
We are desperate to have you stay.
At this exact moment, Andrew unexpectedly walked into the office. Looking at him, Margaret came up with a bold idea.
And there's, well, I think there's something that you should know. We're getting married. We are getting married.
Who is getting married?
You and I are getting married.
We are.
Getting married.
We are getting married.
Yes.
Though her boss was stunned, he still congratulated her. If she and Andrew could get legally married quickly, she could get a new status and stay in the U.S. Without giving Andrew any chance to respond, Margaret dragged him back into her office.
I'm not going to marry you.
Sure you are. Bob is going to fire you the second I'm gone. Guaranteed. That means you're out on the street alone looking for a job. That means all the time that we spent together, all the lattes, all the canceled dates, all the midnight Tampax runs were all for nothing, and all your dreams of being an editor are gone.
Andrew froze in disbelief. He's not interested in this woman, but the thought of losing the job he slaved over for 3 years forces him to agree. Once the legal waiting period ended, they could get divorced immediately. Next, they went to the immigration office to register their marriage, but the officer instantly noticed something was off. He warned them, if their marriage was only for a green card, it would be a serious crime. They could face 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Andrew got visibly nervous, but Margaret stayed calm. She claims they're visiting Andrew's hometown this weekend for his grandmother's 90th birthday and to announce their engagement. After a brief moment of tension, Andrew gathered his courage and made up a romantic love story. He said that after working late nights together so often, he gradually fell hopelessly in love with Margaret. Although they barely passed the interview, the officer still warned them that in 1 week, he would question them separately about the details of their relationship, and if there were any inconsistencies, they could face prison time. Leaving the immigration office, Andrew felt completely thrown off balance. He believed he was taking on too much risk and deserved something in return, so he made new demands. Not only did he want Margaret's help publishing his book, he also wanted a promotion.
Promote you to editor? No.
Then I quit, and you're screwed. Bye-bye, Margaret.
Faced with the situation, Margaret had no choice but to compromise. She promised that as soon as she got her green card, she would immediately give Andrew a promotion. However, Andrew felt that Margaret's attitude seemed rather half-hearted, so he demanded that she show more sincerity.
Ask me nicely.
Ask me nicely what?
Ask me nicely to marry you, Margaret.
Surprisingly, the once high and mighty editor-in-chief actually had to lower her proud head for the sake of a green card.
Sweet. Andrew,
I'm listening.
would you please, cherries on top, marry me?
This turn of events finally gave Andrew a sense of triumph he'd long been waiting for. Soon after, Margaret accompanied Andrew on a flight to his hometown. On the plane, Margaret openly mocked Andrew's family background and firmly insisted that after they got married, they would have to live in her house.
And why wouldn't we stay at mine?
Because I live at Central Park West. And you probably live at some squalid little studio apartment with stacks of yellow Penguin classics.
But Andrew remained calm in the face of Margaret's sarcasm. After 3 years of working closely together, he was already used to her personality. Still, Margaret was starting to feel uneasy. She had no idea how to face Andrew's relatives. The plane landed quickly, and Andrew's grandmother was already waiting by the fence. As soon as they arrived, Andrew's mother gave Margaret a warm welcome. The group then drove through winding mountain roads until they finally arrived at a small town. But soon something odd caught Margaret's eye. The shop names in the area all started with Andrew's last name.
Please, don't do that.
Didn't tell me about all the family businesses, honey.
He was probably just being modest.
But this was just the beginning. What followed was even more surprising. Perhaps because he was back on his own turf, Andrew no longer spoke to Margaret in a submissive tone. Instead, he quietly watched as she struggled to adjust. Yet when he saw the nervous look on Margaret's face as she came downstairs, he still reached out to help. Soon they boarded a yacht, but Margaret couldn't shake the doubt in her heart. Was this really the way to Andrew's home? As her gaze passed a massive rock wall, a towering castle suddenly came into view. Margaret's suspicions were finally confirmed. Compared to Andrew, the hidden rich kid, she was just a hard-working employee trying to get by. To welcome their son back after 3 years away, the family had prepared an elaborate feast. It was also the first time Margaret met Andrew's father, Joe. Joe was always very serious, and he strongly disapproved of his son's decision to work a regular job, his tone dripping with sarcasm. But Andrew was already used to it. During the party, Andrew announced that he and Margaret were getting married. Amid the cheers, the crowd playfully demanded the couple share a kiss. To avoid exposing the truth, they had no choice but to go along with it. What Andrew didn't know was that it was actually Margaret's first kiss. And in that slightly tipsy atmosphere, both of them felt a stir in their hearts they hadn't expected. As night fell, Andrew's mom thoughtfully arranged a quiet room for the two of them to spend the night together. Margaret, though feeling awkward in front of Andrew's family, didn't show any sign of rejection. After the family left, Andrew laid a blanket on the floor for himself. Sharing a room with his boss for the first time, Andrew's mind was a tangled mess, and Margaret, equally uneasy, couldn't fall asleep no matter how hard she tried. At dawn the next day, Margaret was awakened by the urgent ringing of her phone. Afraid of waking Andrew, she stepped out quietly into the yard, but she forgot to close the door behind her. Just then, a very expensive dog slipped out and began barking at Margaret non-stop. Suddenly, a hawk swooped down from the sky and snatched the little dog away in an instant. Still on the phone, Margaret chased after it, and in a panic, she threw her phone to scare the hawk and managed to save the dog. But the hawk wasn't done yet. It now had its eyes on